Hello, hello, hello. Right, so I just want to say, starting off, that I've had quite a couple of people obviously struggling with the previous videos that I've made, just as like examples. I do just want to state that the videos that I am producing right now are just like for an introduction. I don't go too into depth. It's just to showcase the code, just for you to get familiar with it, how it functions essentially. I'm not here to teach you how to code Java. Um, so like this video is just gonna be a bit more of a complex video. Like I said, I won't go too into depth. I want to fly through it. I don't want it to be like a 50-minute video, if not more. So do you know what I mean? Like I'm just trying to show you the fundamentals of how to start, how to, like lay it out and what's what essentially. So let's get started. So I'm just going to create a new package, obviously. I'm just going to call this crafting, because today we're just going to create a crafting bot. Um, let's start off with creating the actual first class. So I'll just call it crafting again. So crafting.java. In here, we're just going to extend looping bot, because obviously we're using a looping bot. And then I'm going to implement settings listener, because we're going to be using a config, and obviously we need to listen to those settings. I'm going to use engine listener, and I think that's all I'm going to use for now. I'm going to use log4j2 for the login. So here I'm just going to put crafting bot. Right. So let's implement the missing methods, which is on loop. And in here, in fact, before we start, yeah, there we go. Okay, so before we start, obviously, I'm going to want to create a boolean. So in fact, I'll just put var started equals false. So it's going to have to be boolean. Yeah, fair enough. Boolean started is false. So before we obviously, like I said in the previous videos, we want to make sure that the start button on the Runemate user interface has been clicked before obviously it just starts. Otherwise, without this, it will start the bot as soon as you load the bot up, essentially. And we obviously don't want that. We need the user to have some time to have select their settings before the bot starts. So let's create another override method, which is going to be the onTick start, which is linked to this engine listener. So if is paused, just return the method. And then we're going to use in here, we're going to put if the chat dialog is open and chat dialog get continue isn't equal to null, then we need to if chat dialog is get continue dot select, and we'll put that as true, execution dot delay while chat dialog is open, and we'll put that. We don't even need the return method there, so that's fine. So basically all this is doing is we're checking to see if we've leveled up. So we've leveled up, chat dialog has appeared. So now obviously we want to get rid of that chat dialog so we can carry on with the crafting. So basically we just check whether it's open and it's not null. We use the keybind. Obviously I've set that to true. You can set that to false if you want the mouse click to click continue, but why the fuck would you want to do that? So we just get keybind to true, and then we wait while the chat dialog is open with a timeout of 2 seconds. So that's pretty much that done already. So in here, in our on loop, let's start off with final var we'll put local players get local. If local is equal to null, return. Right, okay. So we need to now actually start creating the interface. So Java class, we'll put an enum because we actually need the enum as well. So we'll put types, because obviously there's going to be different types, such as we've got battle staffs, hides, gems. We've got birdhouses if you want to do those. These are just a few. I'm not going to list them all. But we're going to use getter. But if I could type getter and required args constructor. But yeah, that's pretty much all we need in the enum types. For what else do we need? We need enums for all of these. So let's create one enum, and we'll put battle staffs, hides. What else did I say? Birdhouses. There was one more, I'm pretty sure. Gems, that were it. Gems. Right, okay, so I'm just going to speed over this. In fact, let me create a package, and I'm just going to put enums, put all of these in here, into the enums. Just make it a little bit cleaner. So in the enums file, we've got all of the enums, obviously, of what types that we're going to be using. So first of all, in the battle staffs one, let's go and create. We're going to be using getter again. So getter required args constructor. Now in here, we're just going to list obviously all of the ones that we want to create. So water battle staff, and then we're going to put. Actually, let's create a string game name, first item, and secondary item. So in here we need the game name of what we're actually creating, which is obviously the water battle staff. This the first item that we actually use. So to create the water battle staff. So it's just a normal battle staff, and the secondary item that we use on the battle staff is a water orb. So we use the water orb onto the battle staff, and it creates this final product, which is this. Yep. I'm just gonna copy and paste the one that I've already done, just to speed this up. So we've got water, earth, fire, and air battle staffs here. So we basically do this exact same thing for all of these enums that we've just created here. So hides would be the exact same. So let me just copy that, just paste that in here. That's all as hides. So you've got green, van braces, chaps, body, blue, chaps, blue van braces, blue body, red, and then obviously black. For some of these, obviously the second item is literally empty because we're using a needle and thread, but I'll go into that once we get back into the normal class. Birdhouses, gems, obviously same thing. So, and then gems. So yeah, game name, first item, and then you use a chisel to cut it. Fairly straightforward, but let's close all these down because that's them done. We don't need types anymore either, not until later on, should I say. But that's them for now. So let's go ahead and create a config. So we need an interface type, and let's just call it config. In here, we just need to extend settings. I always get this one wrong. It's this one. Open. So this is the import that you want to use. So it's com Runemate UI setting open. So in here, actually I just need to put a settings group, group crafting. Now in here, I'm just going to also copy and paste from my old one that I've already made just to speed this up. But this is what it would look like. So I'll go through this real quick, just to obviously explain what's what. So in here, in my previous videos, I said that we create like a panel within the UI. It's like a little frame. So here, this is what this is. So we call it, so we give it settings, key type. So, and obviously with the type, I'll go further into depth with this in a second, but you can see here I've called all of these type, which relates to this. Title type, and it's order number 1. You can put 0, but 1, it's the same thing. Type, and then the type is going to be default to bottle staffs, because obviously that's what's going to default. So when the user loads up the bot, that's the first thing that they'll see. You could put birdhouses if you really wanted, or gems or whatever, but yeah, it don't really matter. So here you can see a new function that I've not actually shown before. So this is the depends on. So the depends on, obviously it's self-explanatory. This will display if it depends on a function or a value. So here we've named them all type. So I've given the key type. So this depends on whether that should be the same as that, by the way. Crafting. Yeah. So depends on this value. So whatever the user has selected here, it would show a different like option for the user of the bot. I will, in fact, I'll show you afterwards once we've got the bot up and running. But yeah, so you keep the order all of the same, and depends on the value. So let's say, for example, I've got Runemate open right now, and I want to make birdhouses. Okay, so now that I've selected birdhouses on the Runemate UI, none of these here will show apart from this one. But let's say if I then wanted to change that to battle staffs, then none of these would show apart from this one. So it would show me only the list of battle staffs, because that's what the depends on function does. We are depending on what this function here is valued at. Okay, so that's pretty much the config done. Like I said, I'm just trying to fly through this, so if I've gone over anything too quick, just pause the video, go back, or if you want to join my Discord, you can always join my Discord and ask any questions. I will post a link down below for you guys to do that. But let's go back into refactor that. Yeah. Let's go back into the main class now. So in here, I'm not going to bore you with like all the boring stuff. We need to put the boolean started equals true, because that's obviously once they've hit start. On the on loop, in fact, I'm going to show you the advanced switches here. So we're going to put state. I'm going to put switch state. And then I'm going to put case. Actually, we need and so we've got bank. What actually do we have here? We've got quite a couple of states, don't we? So we've got bank. We're creating staffs. We've got gems. We've got birdhouses, and then we've got hides. You can always add more, but this is obviously all we need right now. So let's go to case. and let's put bank, and then we create the void title bank, and then gems, let's just call it gems, case hides, let's just call it hides, case staffs, staffs, and case birdhouses, birdhouses. Fairly simple, really easy to do. If state is equal to null, I'll just put state equals, I've done it wrong. State equals state dot birdhouses for now. We will obviously want to do the rechange this, so check what config is selected, settings. So let's go ahead, and then now we need to create all these voids. So void bank, void gems, void hides, and then void staffs, and void birdhouses. Perfect. So now we've got all of these created, we can start to add functions to obviously what they all do. We also need to add the config file. So same again, we're using the getter settings provider. We're going to make sure that the settings on the Runemate UI is updatable all the time. So we just put that as true, and we've called it config. Let's remove that one. So now whenever we want to call anything from this config, we literally just config dot and then whatever the function is that you want it to call. So for example, config dot birdhouses dot get first item, for example. Right, okay, so that's that done for now. So we'll move on to the bank. So in the bank, let's just create something a little fancy. So we can tell the user on the Runemate UI the status of where the bot is. So obviously we're in the bank state, so let's just put we're in banking. If the bank isn't open, and then we obviously want to open the bank, execution dot delay until bank is open. Let's put a 2-second delay on that. We want to return. If not, now if the bank is open, okay, so this is where it gets a bit long. So obviously we've got quite a couple of stuff to go through here. So we've got battle staffs, birdhouses, gems, and hides. So we obviously need to take into account what we're actually wanting to withdraw and deposit here. So let's start off by doing the staffs, because obviously that's the first one that we created. So if inventory.contains config.staffs.get game name, we obviously just want to deposit it. So bank.deposit config.staffs.get game name. We obviously want to deposit them all, so just standard 0. And then obviously we've got a delay. I always like using the delays because without a delay, you're trying to do too many actions at once, and obviously the bot can just basically F up, which you obviously don't want. You want it quiet, smooth. You want it to be reliable, especially if you're going to leave it overnight. And let's say if you're making a bot that you're going to be publishing to the bot store and your customers are going to be using, you know, you can not have a nice, neat bot on the bot store. Like you just putting people's accounts at jeopardy. Now we're all in the same boat. We're all botters. Do you know what I mean? Let's not throw each other under the bus. So let's add some nice delays. Make sure that the bot is functioning as it should efficiently. So what am I doing? So execution dot delay while inventory dot contains the battle staffs. We will have a delay here of 2.8 seconds, and then that's that. So we just return that method. Okay. If inventory, in fact, we could make this a little bit quicker. So we could copy. We can copy and paste this method here, and we can just put hides, and hides. Let's copy and paste that again. We then put gems. Oh, gems, gems, and gems. We can then copy and paste that once more, I believe, and then it would be birdhouses, wouldn't it? So birdhouses, birdhouses, and birdhouses. Perfect. So that's all of them done. So now this is going to be the start of the withdraw. Start of withdraw. Right. So in here, all we need to do is we need to check what we're actually wanting to withdraw. So we need to check to see what type here. So what type the user has selected. So we do that by if config dot type dot equals type dot battle staffs, and obviously we know we're wanting to withdraw the battle staffs. So if the inventory doesn't contain config dot staffs dot get first item, then we obviously want to withdraw that first item. So if bank dot withdraw config dot staffs dot get first item, and we want to withdraw 14 of them. 28 inventory spaces. We've got two combination items, so 14 of 14, 28. So so now this is the function to obviously withdraw the 14 of the first items. So we put a delay until the inventory dot get quantity of config dot staffs dot get first item is equal to 14. And then we can what's wrong here? Wait, what? It's right there. Yeah. Within this same config type, we also then want to if inventory.contains config.staffs, we need the secondary item. If bank.withdraw config staffs dot secondary item, we also need 14 of those, and then it's the same again. Basically, this is just going to be a repeat dot get quantity of config dot staffs dot get secondary item is equal to 14, and then we just do 2.8 seconds. I've done the same again, haven't I? Yeah, there we go. And then once we've done that, we can just call that state.staffs. And return that method. Okay, so that's the staffs. Now I can't speak today. Now we will do the hides. Obviously it's going to be a little bit different to obviously the battle staffs because we've got a needle and thread. We've got tons of different variations of like what we're going to be making, whether it be vambraces, bodies, chaps, etc. Okay, so we start off the same. So we're checking the type equals type dot hides. Okay, if the inventory doesn't contain the needle, because obviously we need a needle to create the items, so we will withdraw needle. We will just take them all because they're stack anyway. Execution dot delay until the inventory contains the needle. and we will do a 2000, return that statement. Now we need a thread, so if we don't have a thread in the inventory, we obviously want to withdraw the thread. I'll put all this in the same line actually, just to keep it shorter. So if inventory doesn't contain the thread, then bank.withdraw thread 0 execution.delay until inventory.contains thread. Same again. Once we've got the thread, we've got the needle. So obviously now we just need to withdraw the hides, the actual hide itself. So if config.hides.getGameName equals green dhide body, or config.hides.getGameName equals blue dhide body, or config.hides.equals wait that equals red dhide body, green, blue, red, and black in it, yeah. And then one more, config.hides.getGame get game name equals black dhide body. If bank.withdraw config.hides get first item. We only need 24 of them. Execution delay until inventory.contains config.hides.get first item 2400. Okay, so basically what we've done here is we are checking to see whether we're doing body, hides, van braces, etc. The reason why we do this is because, well, the reason why I'm doing this would be because, like I said, you've got 28 inventory spaces, and it takes a certain amount of hides to make the body. Now, if my calculations are correct, we only need 24 to actually fill the inventory. Well, to have the inventory do that full inventory, rather than having 1 or 2 hides left over. So just makes sense to withdraw 24 rather than a full inventory's worth. If we don't have the bodies selected, then all we need to do is just withdraw 26 rather than the 24. So if bank.withdraw config.hides get first item, it would be 26. And then execution.delay until literally the exact same as this, so we could just copy and paste that. Bing bang bosh. And then after all of that, yeah, we just call state equals state dot hides to actually combine the hides together to make the whatever it is that you're going to be crafting, or the user's crafting, should I say. Same for gems. We need to obviously withdraw the chisel and then the gems. So you've got 28 inventory spaces. You need 1 chisel, and then the rest in gems. So we'll withdraw 1 chisel, 27 gems. So let's do if config dot type dot equals type dot gems. Let's just create a string. In fact, no, we don't even need to do that. Let's just do if inventory doesn't contain a chisel, We obviously need to withdraw one. Bank dot withdraw chisel. We only need one of those. And we put execution dot delay while inventory doesn't contain a chisel. 2 seconds, and then we just return that. Okay. Now all we need to do is do the withdrawal of the gems. So yeah, that's right. So if inventory doesn't contain yeah, if the inventory doesn't contain, in fact, no, let's actually just do just straight to the withdrawal. We might as well just do straight to the withdrawal because they get banked anyway. Config dot gems get first item, and we only withdraw 27 of those. Execution dot delay until inventory dot contains config gem dot get first item name. We'll put that as a 2.8 second. We don't need a state.gems return method there. Right, that's the gems done. And then I believe it's last but not least the birdhouses. So with the birdhouses, you've got a chisel and a hammer to use, and then obviously the birdhouses items itself. So let's go ahead and do if config.type equals type dot birdhouses. Let's create a string. I'll put chisel string hammer. So obviously they're the in-game names. So if the inventory doesn't contain chisel, if bank.withdraw chisel, we only need one. Execution.delay until the inventory.contains chisel. And we'll put that as a 2.8 second. Okay, we need to do the same, literally the same, so we can just copy and paste that actually for the hammer. Yeah. Now once we've done that, we can then withdraw the items. So if the inventory doesn't contain config.birdhouses, get the first item, we obviously need to withdraw. So bank if bank.withdraw config.birdhouses, I get first item, and we withdraw 13 of these until and get first item because that's obviously the one that we're withdrawing. Same again. And then I do the exact same here, but get secondary item. That's pretty much that done. And then once all that's complete, we call the state birdhouses. Lovely stuff. So that's the banking done already. Fairly straightforward. I hope. Like I said, always join my Discord if you've got any questions. I am quite active on the Runemate Discord itself. As you can see, I do make some tutorials. I've got how to set up IntelliJ for Runemate. Obviously, I don't take full credit for this. I just updated the version as the latest version was outdated. I'm always in here, even not myself. I ask some questions in the development. So, you know, ask around. There's a ton of people to help. I wouldn't say we're all friendly, but like I said, we can help. Right. Let's go back into the main class. So within our gems, let's create the actual functions. In fact, yes, I've done bank. Let's do gems first then. Okay, so in gems, we need to check, see if the bank is still open, because we haven't actually closed the bank yet. So if we don't, obviously the bot will assume that the bank is closed, and it will try and do actions that it can't possibly do because the bank is open. So if the bank is open, bank.close, we will use the boolean, we will use the keybind to close it. So it'll just use the escape button to close it. So now that we know that it's closed, we can actually start doing the methods that we want it to. So if the inventory doesn't contain the gems dot get first item, so this is just a fail safe essentially, or once we've finished the inventory, we can then call state bank. All right. So let's use our logs here, because obviously we want to log everything that the bot is trying to do. So we've ran out of gems. Let's bank, essentially. And then we call state bank and return that method. All right. If make all interface dot is open, if make all interface select item config dot gems dot get first item. So this is where we obviously want to where the chat dialog is open, we want it to select what we want it to make rather than something else. So default UI dot set status, idling while we craft, and then we could be really fancy and we could do what they've selected. We can call it out, get game name. So now it will display whatever they've selected. So whether it be like a sapphire or a ruby or whatever it is, it will say idling while we craft rubies, for example. All right. So execution dot delay until the inventory no longer contains gems dot get first item. And we'll put it down as a 30-second timeout, because it does take a while. We do have, to be fair, you could now let's keep it at 30 seconds. There is like fail safes anyway, so if we somehow stop making gems, if this breaks at all, there are fail safes. You're not just going to be stood there for 30 seconds doing absolutely nothing. It will carry on. It will be efficient. But we have already implemented systems like that. So let's move on. If inventory contains config.gems .get first item and inventory.contains the chisel, let's call first item inventory new query names config.gems get first item dot results. We could do sort by index, doesn't really matter. Var second item equals. So now we're just querying the items that we need. So this is chisel dot results dot first. We've only got one of them, so it doesn't really matter. We could literally just call that chisel regardless. So if the first item isn't equal to null and chisel isn't equal to null. Wait, what? Sorry guys, I've just had a random message come through on my phone, which I was not expecting to receive. Let me just see if. Okay, so I've not been billed for it. That's a good sign. Weird. Very, very, very weird. Right, I'll come back to that. Okay, so we need to obviously check see if these two items aren't null, and we do that by null checking. So if they aren't equal to null, now we obviously need to use the chisel onto the uncut gem. So if if chisel dot interact dot use and the first item dot interact that's right dot interact use chisel config.gems dot get first item execution dot delay until the make all interface is open, and we'll put a 2.3 second there. Right. Okay. So basically, what we've just done there is we've we're checking to see if our inventory. Well, we're querying, should I say? We're querying one of the selected gems in our inventory. We're querying a chisel, so we're checking to see if they're not null. Now we are using the chisel onto the gem. This is a non direct inputted method of doing it, so this is all mouse interacted. We're not going to be using DI. It's like I said in my previous videos, DI is extremely good, but in this case, I just don't see any need for it. You know what I mean? It's just pointless. You can use it, but like I said, in my personal opinion, I don't think it's needed. But that's pretty much all you need to do for gems. We can then go ahead and go into hides. So let's start with hides. So obviously same again, we need to check see if the bank is open. If it is, then just bank.close. True, return. Okay. Same again, we need to check if the inventory doesn't contain the needle and if it doesn't contain a thread, state equals state dot bank return. In fact, that should be an or. So if we've run out of needles or we've run out of threads, it will bank, not both of them. So the difference between and or is this. So this is your and. So this is basically saying if we don't have a needle and a thread at the same time, if we've run out of both, then it will go into bank. But if we want, we can run out of one. So if we don't contain the needle or we don't have a thread in our inventory, but we contain the other, it will call the bank to withdraw the remaining. So if we obviously in this circumstance we want or, but if we was to leave it to and, let's say we've run out of needles, but we still have the threads, it's just going to stand there like a fucking wet lemon. It's not going to do anything because we've not told it to bank to withdraw more items. All right. So this would be or. If the make all interface is open, if make all interface select item config dot hides dot get crafting name final var local equals players dot get local if local is equal to null. In fact, we don't. Yeah, why on earth do I have that there? Okay. I don't know why I put that there in my old script, but it is what it is. Default UI set status. Idling while we craft config.hides.get crafting name. Get game name, sorry. Get game name. Execution. Dot delay until our inventory no longer contains the hides. Get first item. Return that statement. If inventory.contains the hides.get first item and config and if inventory.contains needle, because obviously we use the needle to interact with the hide, then var first item equals, now we need to query it again, so names config.hide get first item dot results. Wait, what have I done wrong here? First item. Oh yeah, results dot first. Var. This is the needle. So query the needle. If first item isn't equal to null and needle isn't equal to null. Same again. All we're doing is just simply interacting. So this will be needle. So we use the needle onto the hide, and then let's make some hides. Okay. Everything else is all the same. What am I doing here? Yeah, everything. It's all pretty much repeated. Like I said, we're all doing the same function. It's just a different crafting item. But this is how to build like an all-in-one, more advanced bot, essentially. Yeah, I mean, I'll go through all of these two. We are nearly done anyway. In fact, let me have a look. Is there much difference between birdhouses? In fact, I'll just copy and paste it across for birdhouses. So here, obviously, we're just calling bank state. It's all the same. So if the bank is open, we close it. Return method. If we don't contain the first item or we don't have the second item, we need to bank to obviously withdraw the remaining. If the inventory doesn't contain any clockwork, let's bank. If the make all interfaces open, then we obviously want to select the item that we want to use. And then this is using the actual item on the item for this interface to open. And then for staffs, like I said, it's all pretty much the exact same. Um, it's just a repeat code. So if the bank is open, return. We close it. Sorry. Return the method. If it doesn't contain the first item or the second item, we bank. It's or, by the way, not and. If contains only the staffs, then we've obviously completed the full inventory, so we bank. We use the items on the item for the make all interface to open. And yeah, so I'll show you an example now that the bot is fully done. This is how it will look when you come to do when you obviously run the bot. So crafter. I just fucked up. Okay, let me just close that down real quick. Okay, so this is what the bot looks like. Let me pause it actually before it starts trying to log in. Yeah, that's fine. So this is obviously what the bot is going to look like. Ignore this because you're not going to have the break handler, but you're going to have this general here. So here you can see type and battle staff. So these are all the battle staff. So we've got water, earth, fire, and air. So, but if I change this to I want to do gems, now you can see that it changed to gems, and it gives me a list of the gems. This is the depends on function, which I was telling you about pretty much at the start of this video. And if I want to do hides, it'll show me the hides. We can make the van braces, chaps, body, all of that kind of jazz. Birdhouses, birdhouse, oak, willow, etc. And then obviously the start button will start the bot. But that's pretty much it. That's the bot. That's how to create an all-in-one. I hope you enjoyed the video. And like I said, if you've got any questions, just pop into my Discord or the Runemate Discord. Go into the development channel and just ask any questions there. I'm free. Just always ping me. My name is BB in the Discord. As you can see, BB, I'm a QT. So yeah, just ping me if you need any assistance. All right, guys. Happy coding.